Hi everyone, welcome to the Pushing Buttons podcast with Marks and Anniepoo. My name is Marks and I am like a mushroom. Okay.
Like a fun guy. A fun guy.
You've used this joke on me before and I didn't understand it back then and I'm not... Will history not repeat itself? No, actually.
I thought you were gonna get that.
I'm mostly just disappointed in myself.
Okay, well, other voice here is Anniepoo, and I can close the podcast. Am I gonna have to do that today?
You want it? Yeah, I think it's gonna happen.
I'm not mentally prepared for this.
Oh, that's kind of the point. I should have put it in your title so then that way you would have had to just do it on the spot and then we could have seen what that would have looked like. I mean, it kind of happened last time as well, but that's right. We're back.
I did it last time. I'm back.
Yeah,
you're back. I was always here.
Yes, but also too, that could be in the general sense that we're back because it's been 2 weeks and thus the podcast is back for the bi-weekly.
But
anyway.
Yeah, but like I've been here, you've been gone.
That's true. You're not wrong there. Last time I had the flu and you recorded it at 3:00 in the morning. And I think the episode actually turned out pretty darn well, all things considered.
You. I didn't listen to it, really. I did listen to part of it afterwards and I was shocked because I was like, damn, I said that? That's wild, bro. Like there's a segment at the end to where I was trying to close and I had said, I don't listen to Marks when he closes the podcast. I just wait for him to ask me for my thoughts. And I was like, stupid. Freaking, why did I say that? Why did I say that?
The best way I can describe working on that episode too was like Annie sent me the audio file, right? And was just like, here you go, have fun. There were a lot of just notes for me that you were verbally saying out loud in the middle of some of your stories. And then I'm like, do I cut this out? Do I leave it in? I think I'm going to leave some of them in. I might cut some of this out, but, we'll see what's going on.
Did you leave some of them in? I have to listen to it now. Okay, bye.
It's a good time. But okay, here on the Pushing Buttons podcast, we are an esports themed podcast talking about like production, all that jazz. But it's the end of the year extravaganza because by the time this episode comes out, New Year's just around the corner. And so what we're going to do on this episode is kind of take a look back and reflect on the year because a year ago at this point, were we friends?
Nope.
I'm not too sure.
Nope. We're not friends.
Nope. Yep. And so a lot has happened during this year. And we're just going to kind of talk about some of these reflections. And we've kind of ordered it in a couple of questions just to help guide us and keep us on track as to, talking about what's been going on. So let's kick it off. Our first question that we're going to be talking about today is, what is something you did this year that you think you will remember for the rest of your life? Annie, kick us off.
I knew you were going to make me go first.
What did you think I wasn't going to do?
I don't know. I just had a feeling.
Did you have hope?
That you wouldn't make me go first?
Yeah. You're thinking really hard about that, but I feel like we should also give a disclaimer that you just had your wisdom teeth removed. And so you have to be a little bit more careful when you're talking, which will come across because this is literally a podcast. But anyways, okay, over to you for the first question.
I did just have my wisdom teeth removed. I am recovering from said wisdom teeth removal. But anyways, I'm sorry. Wait, what was the first question?
What is something you did this year that you think you will remember for the rest of your life?
Okay.
Clearly not the first question.
I thought you asked a different question. So I got confused. But yeah, okay. Anyways.
You had to slip that in there. You answered the damn question, Amy. We're 5 minutes into this recording and we've already gotten off track.
I'm posting this clip on Twitter of you yelling at me when I'm in recovery. Okay, though, but actually, though, something that I did this year that I'm gonna remember for the rest of my life. Well, you guys, there's something out there called the power of friendship. I will remember the power of friendship for the rest of my life. But I was thinking about this. I was trying to think about something deep and thoughtful and something amazing and huge and big. But not that the power of friendship isn't amazing and huge and big, but I had figured, there was nothing that came to mind immediately other than, well, when I think about this time of my life, I'm probably going to not remember a lot of the things that happened, but rather the way that I felt and the people that made me feel that way. So for me, I think something that I'm going to remember for the rest of my life was getting to meet a lot of the people that I spend a lot of time with on the weekends, on broadcasts, and in my evenings, hanging out and laughing. Like, I got to meet my Discord pals, you included. Ha ha. It was so much fun. Yay.
Wait a second.
No, it was fun meeting you. It was fun meeting a lot of other people as well. Esports colleagues, friends, people that I didn't even know before and have kept up with online since then. It's just been really nice to meet a lot of people from a lot of different places, a lot of different walks of life, all because we like video games.
Very well said. And I was going to question for a second there where it was just like, why was this year the year that you discovered the power of friendship? You had a lot of years before this to discover the power of friendship. But maybe the esports power of friendship. How about that?
The esports power of no, yeah, I discovered the power of friendship many years ago. But I think this year was different because this really was the year where I got to meet people from a lot of areas. I got to travel out and meet a lot of different people, which, to be fair, I did before in college too. For one of my extracurriculars, I did travel across North America to go to different conferences, but it was also kind of, I had to hold back a little bit because it was like a conference. There was a certain level of personhood that you had to.
Professionalism? Maybe that's the word you're thinking
No,
of?
it's not professionalism. Okay. It's not professionalism. It's just like a little more formal than I think what I was able to experience traveling and seeing people this year.
Mm-hmm. No. I think that also makes sense too because, coming out from the pandemic, which was how a lot of us got it started in esports, like you said, like you built this rapport with these people for like such a long time, but you don't actually talk to them in person until you actually like hang out with them at an event or something like that, right?
Yeah, dude, you're so short. I was really surprised by that.
Where did that come from? Would you like to share with the class the tweet that you sent me?
No, I don't. It's okay.
Okay. Coming under my height? Oh my God.
Okay, we had an argument. Marx claims he's 5'10". I don't believe he's 5'10". There's no way you're 5'10".
I'm 5'10". I don't know what to tell you.
I've met you like 3 times. I've spent a total of like 10 hours with you.
Yeah.
I think it's been more than 10 hours. But anyways, there's no way.
Literally, I think
you're lying to people.
Been only like 2 of those the entire time, 2 hours in the entire time that we've known each other, where you probably weren't wearing platform shoes or like shoes with a little bit of extra height on the bottom,
There's still no way. Okay, those shoes, maybe like an inch taller at most.
Okay, we're not gonna get into this because I feel like we're gonna get too off topic here. But man, surprisingly, lately there have been a lot of conversations just about height. I've noticed just online with various people that I know, and I'm like, huh. But okay, anyways, to answer the question myself, and once again, just because we've kind of gotten off track, it's something that was memorable for me that I think I'm going to remember, honestly, for quite some time, is when I was traveling as well. I was in Seattle walking.
And you met me?
Anniepoo.
That was
And she
something that you'll
walking
remember for the rest of your life.
so she was walking so fast, and I tripped, and then you laughed at me. Remember that? No, okay,
No, I don't. I didn't. Did I? Is that
Yes.
real?
Yeah.
I
Remember
don't
I was complaining afterwards? I'm like, it was like, haha, funny. Look at me. I fell, whatever. But then afterwards, when I was like going hiking with my friends, I'm like, oh my God, my leg really hurts. This is the worst. And all I could hear was you laughing behind me. And I'm like, wow. Okay. But
Sorry.
no. I guess my serious answer, it is kind of still in the same vein as kind of like what you described, the power of esports friendship. And for me, I think that moment really culminated itself when the second Toronto Valorant happened. And I was working as a caster for that event. I think we talked about it on our podcast. But essentially, like, it was different than just kind of attending an event, because it just felt like everyone around, it was like, oh, hey, like, hey, how's it going? Everyone kind of like knew of each other. I didn't feel like I was that much of an outsider, which, to be completely honest with you, you know, attending different like esports events at first, I was like, I don't know anybody here, so I'm gonna just hang out at the back and just kind of enjoy my own time and stuff like that. But it was a very different experience where it was like, oh, there's this person. Oh, there's this person. Oh, there's this person. And then you can just kind of go and like, you know, you all know of each other, but actually being in the same room and kind of just hanging out as friends, and it didn't feel like it was like, aha, how do I get your job? Or like any of that type of networking type stuff. It was really cool, to put it lightly, I guess. I don't know, because you know, you're just like meeting people, and it was just such a fun experience to kind of be in that moment. So, honestly, yeah, it kind of is the same as yours, I guess, just more specified to a single event, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Didn't want to bite too much of your answer off there. And I was like, oh no, I was going to say something very similar. But, well, you know. Okay, let's go to the second reflection item, which is, what was the most challenging part of this year for you?
Or for you. Sorry. For you.
Are you pointing at the audience, or are you pointing at me? Because that's going to be interpreted two different ways.
I was pointing.
And leave a comment down below for your most challenging thing.
Pointing for you. Pointing to you. You're here on my screen. But sorry, no one can see this on the audio version.
Eddie is pointing to the right of the screen.
I'm pointing to a screen in front of me, but the camera is angled away from me.
Yes. And he is now pointing directly at the camera, which could be the audience, or it could be me, depending on how you want to interpret it.
It was for you, but
okay.
I can give my answer first. The most challenging part of this year for me was learning to be uncomfortable. Not that I've never been uncomfortable before, kind of like how I've experienced the power of friendship before, right?
Yeah.
But I think this year was the first year I really allowed myself to sit down and be uncomfortable, like to sit with it and to even go for things that make me uncomfortable. I mean, some specific examples are a few weeks ago, I don't know how long it's been, but we recorded the podcast in this new location for me for the first time. I think this is our third recording in this place. It was very uncomfortable for me to bite the bullet and say, okay, for my well-being and for my personal growth, I just need to be uncomfortable and I just need to get over this hump. It will become more comfortable moving away from my parents and living away from them again. But it is something that is good for me and is going to enhance my growth as a person. And I've done that multiple times, not just in my personal life, but also in my career. I'd say another thing is leaving my job. Leaving a full-time job, a full-time salaried job without anything to without another job lined up. I left my non-esports job earlier this year in late spring without anything else lined up. And that was one of the most uncomfortable things that I have ever done. Not knowing when my next paycheck would come, but also knowing that it is going to lead to better things eventually. And I'll learn to overcome it. But also, you know, like smaller things too, being uncomfortable. So like I went to go ride roller coasters in California. And I love roller coasters. I love roller coasters, okay? I know.
Okay. So why was that uncomfortable? Let's dissect this.
Because roller coasters are uncomfortable. They're scary. But yeah, okay. But like the roller coasters that we went on were roller coasters unlike other roller coasters that I have ever been on. One of them, I was also in the very front row. And once we realized, me and the person I went with realized that, oh shoot, we're gonna be in the front row of this roller coaster, I was freaking out. I was like, oh my God, I don't wanna be in the front row. I don't wanna do this. That's so scary. I've never been in the front row of a roller coaster before. Do you think we should ask somebody if they wanna switch, like in the second row or something? But I didn't. We went through it.
Yep.
And honestly, that was the most fun that I've had on a roller coaster ever. It was so much fun being in the front row. Never thought of myself as a front row roller coaster person.
There it is.
What a tongue twister. But it was a lot of fun. And actually, I think about it now as kind of I've been using it as motivation for everything else in my life. If I can be in the front row of a roller coaster and be uncomfortable, I can be uncomfortable in anything else. Wisdom teeth, uncomfortable, but I'm going to get through it. I'm going to power through it, and it's going to be great. This is a short amount of discomfort for a lifetime of what is hopefully good dental help. And I mean, it applies to everything else in life too. I'm like, oh, I don't want to go to this networking event. I hate talking to strangers. Well, if I don't get over that hump of being uncomfortable for a little bit, I am limiting myself to endless possibilities in making new connections, forming new relationships with people, having different kinds of experiences. So yeah, most challenging part was just learning to be uncomfortable, sitting with it, and also embracing it, I guess. You're doing the same thing that I do. The nodding. Oh, I'm doing the smiling and the nodding. Yeah. You used to make fun of me for smiling and nodding. I used and to now do that, you do it.
All of our business meetings, you would just do that a lot. And I'm like, I can't tell if you're paying attention or you're just trying to do that to like, oh, yeah, continue the conversation. But, you know, it was kind of funny because as you were describing that, I'm like, wow, I feel like that roller coaster could be a good metaphor for life. You know, you're accidentally stuck in the front seat and you're just like, well, I'm here now. And you've just got like this panicked look on your face until you actually go into it. And then it turns out to be like one of the coolest things that you've done and the most fun that you've had and all that type of stuff. And well, here we are. Every time you're about to do something scary, I was on the front seat of a roller coaster. No, I am unstoppable.
I'm not joking. I did that. Like when I was going in for my wisdom teeth, I was like, if I could be in the front seat of a roller coaster, I can get through this extraction.
In my professional opinion, kind of comparing apples to oranges, but I see what you mean. And it comes from a good place. So
it's a mentality thing, dude. You got to build your mental.
Right. Oh, man. Okay. All right. Well said. Also, too, I just wanted to mention that episode that we recorded while you had just moved into your new place. I'm pretty sure the title of that was literally Uncomfortable and Cringe. And that's just really funny. Given how the context that you have provided. So, you know, sometimes it just, the script just writes itself.
Yeah, true. I'm uncomfortable. You're cringe.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, so for myself, the most challenging part of this year, surprise, surprise, was, I think, time management. I push really. That's
a lot of reallys. Are you done?
I was gonna see how long I could go, but you
time management, dude. Is it still challenging for you?
Clearly. No, but I worked really hard to try and just get it all. Obviously with my day job and in addition to chasing down esports gigs and all of that type of stuff, because in the like earlier part of the year when, I started working for Nerd Street for their Summer Champ series, then I felt like there was this pressure to be like, this is like the wave and I got to ride the wave as hard as I can because this could really make or break what is going to happen in esports for me. And so I spent a lot of the summer just really giving it my all, whether or not it was chasing down opportunities, creating new reels, trying to network with people, talking to tournament organizers, just really throw everything that I had into it. And it was honestly really challenging. I felt like it was consistently pulling me down as well, because then you get into the headspace of like, if I'm not working, I'm doing something wrong. And that is not a good headspace to be in, especially when you're balancing two careers.
I mean, that's a common headspace for a lot of freelancers to get into as well, because as a freelancer, there's no guarantee for your next job. So that's something a lot of other people tend to feel as well. But for you, it was different because you're not just freelancing. You also have your other job to work on, right? So...
Yeah, I mean, like, just taking a look at the summer, if I want to talk outside of esports stuff, like, I was chasing down a promotion. I was trying to get a full-time status, which is extremely troublesome, and you got to jump through a bunch of hoops. I was presenting at a international conference. It all just coincided all at the same time. And I think I kind of let myself fall too much into that negative headspace of like, oh my God, I need to always be grinding. Otherwise, I am doing it wrong. And I think that was my biggest challenge, was trying to claw my way out of that cave. But it's so important to be able to do that, because otherwise, you will just burn yourself out. And I genuinely think that you literally can't be happy with any product that you put out and just kind of sit there and be like, that was really cool that I did something, because then you're just like, what do I do next? How do I get to the next step? What do I have to make happen? And it's just a really, that is something that I struggled with a lot. And I feel like I was even still struggling with that even after the summertime, because fall too, I was still just like, okay, all the big things have ended now. What do I do? And it just kind of like panic mode engage. And then you're like, oh my God. And so I think it was just making sure that I had a good headspace and I was managing my time well to also give myself some time, which is something that I struggled with just in general, but I do think that I'm starting to get a little bit better with it. And like I said, this is the episode where we reflect on the year. So I'm glad that I'm at least reflecting on it and not just kind of being like, no, but that is the truth. That is how we must do things here, because that is the only way. So I think overall, just the fact that I can acknowledge it, I think that's a really healthy step forward. So, yeah.
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 Yeah. We're doing the nodding thing together.
We're doing the nodding thing together. This is an ongoing thing too when we just talk sometimes, where someone will just say one word and the other person will repeat it. Yeah. Wow. Wow. No, we can't get stuck. We must get out. Okay. All right. Our next reflection piece item. What sticks out as being a meaningful moment to you? And I'm going to start us off because you clearly hinted on the last one that you wanted me to start, and I didn't pick up what you were putting down, and then you put me on the spot. Okay. So there are a couple of meaningful moments. And I'm going to start with the first time that I worked on the Nerd Street Summer Champs, because, I'm coming into this, right? It's like I'm brand new, I'm fresh, just, oh my God, this is going to be the big first thing that is going on.
Just got rid of your Ganyu pillow?
Yeah, like...
Haven't seen that in a while?
She's now in
When are you going to bring her back? You put her in your living room? I don't know what's worse.
No, it's just great because now it's just like she's behind our couch because it was a kind of a problem that like when I sat on my couch, your head would be like against nothing, so your neck would be like bent in a weird angle. So now you
put it against your Ganyu body pillow?
Yeah, because then there's a little bit of cushion for your head. It's great.
I'm just shocked because you used to be so ashamed of it, and you would hide it away when guests come over.
Don't get me wrong.
Got it.
That hasn't changed. Yeah, but Summer Champs. Okay, I am fresh. This is going to be the first big Valorant gig that I have really like. It felt like there was just like a lot of pressure, right? And lo and behold, the very first cast I'm doing is with Tanner Metro, the man himself who has worked on VCT. And on top of that too, I was going to be a color caster, which up until this point, I had not really been a color caster before. So panic, just a lot of panic, a lot of just frantic scrambling for trying to pull things together and really just like, oh my God, like, am I going to be able to do it? And then I actually meet Tanner, and like, we've talked about Tanner Metro before, but he's just a really like chill, cool guy. I don't really know how else to describe it. And just when we were in the booth and just like chatting with him, and he was like, yeah, sure, dude. Like, yeah, no worries. Okay, let's do like da 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 da, and it's going to go great. And then we just started casting together. And this, I think, was actually really important in really stabilizing my own confidence in casting. Was when we were done, Tanner was like, yo, dude, that was actually sick. That was one of the best casts that I've done with someone who I've just like never met before. It flowed flawlessly. And then also too, all the production people on Nerd Street were like, yeah, holy crap, that was actually really good. Like, damn, like, yo, you brought your A game and it shows. And like, just the feeling and that in that moment where it's like, damn. I am like, I actually can do this.
Yeah, you can decently. Do it super decently.
Yeah. Like it was an eye-opening moment for myself.
I'm telling you.
I know, but like we're friends, it's different versus a bunch of people you haven't met before. And then you're like, oh my God, like, I have to really showcase what I can do.
My opinion doesn't matter. Carry on.
Exactly. I'm glad that you finally figured out what I've been trying to tell you all this time. No, I'm kidding.
All right, guys.
I didn't think I was going to run with it.
In 2023, I'm looking for a new podcast host.
Oh, great. Have fun editing.
Technically, Mark's own this podcast, but I own it now. So.
Oh, damn. Should I take this to court? I feel like you'd have more resources on that end than I would, so maybe I shouldn't. Anyways, it was a pivotal moment for myself to just kind of be like, wow, I can feel good and confident in my own abilities as a caster, and I want to actually work at develop it. Because I think up until this point, like everyone, I'm going to be honest with you, especially when you're first starting out, everybody gasses you up. Everyone's just like, yeah, you can do it. But then you start to actually think about it and you're like, wait a second, now I'm doubting it because literally everybody's saying that, even though people might not think that's true. And so that moment for me was just like, oh shit, wait, I can do this. This is great. And so that kind of stands out for me as being like one of the most meaningful moments. But the other one that is honestly just a very close second place was when I actually started to find success in casting. And it was just beyond like the Nerd Street Summer Champ series. Like I did TVAL, I did the Red Bull Campus Clutch and all of that type of stuff. And actually, like, of course my immediate family knew about it, but also like my extended family. And then suddenly all of them were just like, yo, that's so cool how you're like doing that. And then being able to talk about esports with them. And the same with a lot of my friends who were just completely disconnected from the video game community in general. And like they know nothing about esports, but it's just this weird like, oh shit, yeah, no, like I can be comfortable and talk about a lot of this stuff that is really important to me with other people, and I can share that part of my life with other people, and they're genuinely curious about that. And obviously I do think that it helps when, you hit a certain point, because then like people are like, what, you were on this? I kind of know what that is. That's crazy, man. But it is still nice to be able to just kind of be proud of what you do and to share that with other people. And as that transition happened, to me, like that was really impactful to me. Where I'm like, oh, this isn't just like a fun side hobby.
You look so happy right now. Tune into the video version. Little happy marks.
Plug. Yeah.
Must be nice.
What?
must be nice.
Okay, now over to you. I answered first this time.
Okay. For me, it was much earlier in the year. Not that much earlier, but a couple of months earlier than I think when you had your first experience casting with NSG. For me, it was in March or April of this year when I went on my first trip to Las Vegas to the HyperX Arena as part of the Thousand Dreams Broadcaster Academy Fellowship. That is a mouthful, and I'm surprised I remember it every time I have to say it. But
it's okay. I would have had your back if you did it, but continue.
But yeah, I was selected to be one of the 10 fellows for this year, and I got to go to the HyperX Arena. And we had some workshops and mentorship sessions while we were there. One of the speakers that had spoken to the fellows that were there in the spring was Judd Hannigan. And Judd Hannigan is the CEO of Allied Esports, which is the company that works with the Lexer and works with HyperX in order to bring that gaming arena to Las Vegas. They've also done some work, I think, on NASCAR or other kart racing stuff. They do video game stuff, but they also do traditional sports things as well. Very, very interesting space, I think. When I was listening to Judd, I was fascinated. But Judd was very inspiring, along with Christy Garten too. Christy is the founder and CEO of Thousand Dreams Fund. And both of them together sat down with us at lunch, spent an hour outside of lunch too, just talking to all of the fellows about who we are and about our goals and what we wanted to do. And it wasn't until, oh my God, I'm going to cry.
Walk me through it. You finish the story first. We can worry about the tears after.
It wasn't until I had spoken to the two of them that, one second. Prior to our recording, I had said, I don't know what to put in here because I don't know if I want to say something that's going to make me cry. And actually, this story was something that I didn't think was going to make me cry. It was something else that we can talk about at a later time. But basically, in a nutshell, Judd and Christy were really the first.
I'm giving you space, and then you looked at me like you were very upset at me for a second, and I'm like, what? I'm trying to be a good listener right now.
Okay. No, okay. Judd and Christy were the first people who really made me feel like I don't want to cry.
Just get it over with. I don't mean, you know what I mean.
I don't like my voice when I cry. It's Uggy.
Uggy, the off-brand of Uggs. didn't quite take off as the Ugg market did.
No, they were the first people to make me feel like I could do it. It was okay to take that leap of faith, and that was something that I struggled with a lot. I'd say for a lot of my teenage years and young adult life so far is dealing with taking fate into my own hands and doing things that were not to get too deep or too personal, but things that were against my parents' will and what their vision for me as a first generation American was. So like making money off of video games, not a discussion. That is not a thing that you can do. And I think for a long time, I was just doing things because it was acceptable for other people. But connecting with them and really talking to them and them sitting down with me made me feel like, you know, as long as I'm happy and I show other people like, hey, this is something that I really enjoy and it's something that I believe in, I can succeed in doing all of the things that I want to do. And, you know, it's worked out so far. So we chillin', kind of. Still have a long way to go, but yeah.
And I was telling you this for the longest time, but you had to wait for Judd to be there to tell you. I see how it is. My opinion doesn't matter to you at all.
Oh my god, I think you
have no idea.
You got so loud screaming that Discord actually cut you out. Oops. I only heard part of that. No, but it's
new audio setup.
It's different.
Yeah, I know. Man, that entire time I had that joke in the back of my mind, and I'm like, nope, gotta wait until Annie finishes her train of thought. Otherwise, that is going to be extremely insensitive right now. But no, I think also from the outside perspective, you know, when you actually went to the HyperX Arena, I feel like a lot of your just like trajectory changed. And that's kind of where things like zoom, for lack of better terms, as to just like how you've changed, I guess, from the start of the year versus where you are at now. And so like, obviously I didn't know it was like that impactful, nor did I actually know that you honestly had that conversation. But from the outside perspective, it's like, oh, that actually makes a lot of sense that, you know, you were able to take away something that was very meaningful towards yourself, but honestly had a pretty big impact at where you are now. So happy for you. Happy
for your mom. Sorry, I don't know how to deal with
Wow.
Sorry, this is how I cope.
For those listening in, this is actually how Annie copes, by the way, because, you know, every time I'm just like, oh, yo, like, that's actually sick. Like, yo, that's nice. That's awesome for you. And you're like, that's awesome for your mom. And I'm like, all right, that's cool. Like,
yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know how to respond to people being positive for me. So I just respond with like something that makes them uncomfortable.
Your mom now?
Yeah.
Okay. Last reflection tidbit for this episode. Had the hanky break, and now last thing we got to think about is how did working in esports influence your life this year? You're going to hate me, but I think that you should start us off because I think it has had quite a significant impact on your life this last year. It has as well as mine, but I think that yours is a little bit more all encapsulated.
Well, yes, that is true because I keep the thud in. I am esports.
It's like you're trying to take us off. Would you like to expand upon that?
About which part? About Thorin or about...
No, I mean... how working on esports has influenced your life.
Oh my god. Okay, yeah. Sorry, I need to get the giggles out of the way. Please don't make that the title.
Oh man.
You can't make that the title.
Fine. Okay, I'll think of something else. But okay.
Whew, okay, I've collected myself. We've gotten the giggles out of the way. We're good now.
Yep.
Um,
You said it so confidently. I'm sorry. Right now, I'm just let it go. Like, you slammed the table and said it with all the might in your voice. It really caught me off guard.
sorry, I'm wasting time. Holy shit. I'm wasting precious roll time. Okay. Okay, now we've collected ourselves and gotten all the giggles out of the way. So, how has it influenced my life? Well, it is I do this now.
Well said.
Yes. I do this now. This is my job. This is my new career. I've met a lot of really cool people. I've gotten to go to fun places, do new things. We'll continue to do new things next year. I hope. And yep.
That was a very aggressive yup. I have never heard you say yup that aggressively before.
I don't know what else to say. I'm a little scatterbrained now. But okay, here. I can actually collect a reel. It's in the atmosphere somewhere. I just need to it's swirling around. I'm capturing it and
just right in your brain.
Yes. Yes. What?
Continue. What were you gonna say? You just collected the thoughts. Stop stalling.
I collected the thoughts. Yes.
Yes.
It's just been very. There's no other word that I think encapsulates it other than fun. It's been fun. I got to meet a lot of people, do a lot of things, and I don't wake up every day dreading work anymore. I wake up every day dreading work a little bit. No, I'm just kidding. Don't tell my boss. Don't tell my boss.
Oh, my hands are up here. You can see them if you're watching the video podcast.
No, I just it's great. I really enjoy working in an industry that is dynamic and full of like-minded people. It's very refreshing and new compared to the work that I was doing before. And yeah. Also, I think, don't tell my friends. My friends are listening to this, so oops. But I think I have the coolest job out of all my friends. I get to do really cool shit. So you know what?
Yeah. Sucks
to suck, guys. I have the coolest job.
God, I wish I had an air horn noise just to play right there. I got the coolest job. Yeah. No. Well said. You pretty much are. I was just about to say you are.
I am esports.
Yeah. You cannot be stopped. No, but yeah, I don't know. You've kind of just dove into esports, and like you said, I'm glad that it's fun and you're not just dreading balancing a job in addition to doing
Another
what
job?
you like. Yeah,
Oh,
another
yeah.
job. Yeah. Okay, hey, over to me. So esports influencing my life this year. Obviously, we could talk about a lot more of the tangible stuff and all that jazz, but let's take it a step further than that, because I think up until this year, I've always enjoyed kind of doing media production type stuff. I mentioned it before. I used to work at a radio station. I used to edit videos. I stream on Twitch, and it's all because I enjoy it, but I never actually expect to find success in it. It's always just been one of those things that is it'd be cool if, but then at the same time, you don't want to think too hard about it, because then if you think too hard about it, then you think, oh, but if I actually can't make it, then what am I going to do? And I think that internal struggle had been going on for a number of years of my life, between all the various podcasts, between all the YouTube videos I used to work on. It's always just been a little part of the back of my mind where I'm like, well, if I don't put 100% into it, then I can't be upset if it doesn't take off. And this right here is the first time that I've found success in doing something that I really do enjoy, where I can take it beyond just being a hobby, kind of like what I said earlier. And it's not just like it is what it is. It'll just exist out there. And if it doesn't catch on, it's whatever. I mean, I brought that same mentality in with this podcast as well. And he was pretty upset about that. Just making a lot of movements if you're only listening in right now of just pure frustration. But would you like to quickly explain your thoughts right now?
I hate, I have some choice words for you, but I'm going to keep it PG-13.
Oh, no.
No, I'm going to keep it PG-13 just for the last episode of the year. What a waste of time, honestly. If you're doing something and you don't give it your all, what is the point in doing it? Huh? Why did you do all of those podcasts and videos before, not at 100%? Like, aren't you just wasting your time at that point? Like, it's not about... Okay, I won't start an argument with you. Sorry, I got really heated there.
That's okay.
That was an attack.
I do think that those are kind of valid questions, and it's one of those things that it's like, you're not intentionally, you're not like, I'm only going to give this 70% of my effort. But if it's just kind of like this, if I was like sitting down and I'm just like, oh man, like I should really work on this like podcast promotion or whatever, right? I'd be like, well, like, it's not going to go anywhere anyways, and I've also got this assignment coming up. I was doing a podcast while I was still in school. Maybe I should focus on the assignment instead. I'll throw the podcast stuff onto the back burner. So it's not a conscious, like, I am not going to put 100% into it, but it loses its place in the priority list just because you don't think that, like, it's a self-defense mechanism. That's the best way I can describe it. Because that's the thing. It's like, well, I never really tried, so of course it's not going to take off, You can say that as a backup when something that you actually do care about, and if it goes nowhere, then you can fall back on that. And I think that I was doing that for a lot of my life, and I never really thought that, the things that I do could actually go somewhere. And just to bring this back to the actual question, like, I'm going to swear. I went fucking hard in esports. And I found quite a bit of success, and I will admit, it is also partially just because of luck as well. I think that luck plays a huge element in actually kind of finding your lucky break, but it's about taking the opportunities that you get and really doing something with them. And this was the first time that every single opportunity I tried to pounce on, and I tried to make the most out of it, and I think that really helped me, like I kind of said earlier, believe a lot more in myself and be a lot more confident that if I do something, it isn't just going to be something that exists and no one will care about it and it's not going to go anywhere. I can actually do something, and it could be somewhat successful. And it is like I said earlier, I could do it. Like, I think wrapping my head around that was the biggest thing that I can kind of take away from my entire esports journey up until now. Just the fact that, like, holy crap, this is like, I can do it. The dreams could be real. Like, we were talking about this earlier as well, but literally when I started in esports, also too, this was after, like, I was actually getting a little bit of, like, higher tiered tournaments, still mostly volunteered and stuff that I was doing. The one goal that I had where I'm like, anything after that is gravy. I was just like, if I could just work one LAN, I'm good. That's it. And here we are. I've worked 2 LANs now, and I've also done
3.
A live in studio
3.
one. Well,
oh, okay. I see.
because it wasn't really a LAN. Yeah, but it was just like a studio recording version, right? Yeah. And like, that's wild. Like, what?
You set one goal and you went above and beyond.
Yep. I'm such a keener. This is just like when I was in school. Oh God. I have a problem.
You are an academic.
I am an academic.
You know, studying isn't a personality trait, right?
Okay, I am aware. It took a long time to figure that one out, but yes, I am aware.
Got it.
But yeah, so that's how esports has really influenced my life. I guess just beyond this year, but also too, the year's just ending. So who knows what'll come in the future, right?
Oh,
so,
thank God. You've learned a valuable lesson. I think I now realize why I felt like punching you in the face so many times early on in our friendship.
Is it because of this face behind me?
No, actually,
that looks like a very punchable face.
I very rarely look at that face, actually.
Oh, okay.
But no, it's because you had that attitude of, we'll see. And that is the complete opposite of how I go into things. It's like, if I'm not giving it my all, why am I even doing it? This is a waste of time.
Yeah, kind of funny. And here we are. That's why this business partnership works, because we balance each other out like that.
Do we?
Honestly, I'm not too sure. Just come to think of it, when it comes to a lot of the back end of this, it's okay. We don't need to get too into the specifics on that, but yeah. All right. Well, with that, then this is going to be the end of our end of year extravaganza, and Annie sent us home. I gave you the warning too. You knew this was coming.
I didn't think you would actually make me do it. If you enjoyed listening to the podcast, make sure to follow. Sorry, hold on.
You got this. You got this. Yeah, beat that chest. Power.
Guys, if you I'm so uncomfortable. But I did.
This is the most challenging part of the year. Annie, you rode that roller coaster in the front. You got this.
I rode that roller coaster. I can close this podcast. I don't remember how you usually close it, so I'm gonna do it the Anniepoo way, and this might be a disaster. No. Thank you guys for listening to the podcast. My name is Anniepoo. That's it.
My
Goodbye.
name is Sparks. Wait. Oh no. Okay. All right. Here's how we do it. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, listening, or watching the Pushing Buttons podcast with Anniepoo. You know what? It's kind of been a wild ride. Me and Annie were sitting on this podcast, letting it sit in the oven for just maybe a little bit too long until we decided to just kind of, go for it. And here we are. And quite frankly, it is really nice to see some of the feedback that we get about the podcast as well. Not to go on too much of a tangent, but you know what? Like I was kind of saying earlier, it's nice to see things actually kind of take off. So thank you guys from the bottom of our hearts for tuning in and being a part of our esports journey, because it's twisting and turning. Clearly, a lot has changed over just one single year. Just like a
roller coaster. If you enjoyed listening to our podcast, make sure to follow us on Twitter at PushButtonsPod.
What else?
You can, if video version is available on YouTube. And you can find us on Spotify and all of your favorite podcasting platforms. Pushing Buttons with Marks and Anniepoo. I am LFT.
Don't forget the comments. Don't forget the comments. Leave us a comment or a review.
Leave us a comment or a review if you liked the podcast or didn't like it. You can flame us too. I'm okay with that.
Oh, okay. We're adding that onto the end. All right. And I am LFT, looking for thoughts. If you have any, please send them. I need thoughts. Okay, that was my impression of you. That's usually how you say it. And you also do that head thing as well, where you look LFT, looking
do I
for
actually?
thoughts.
That's not
every single time. You look a different way after you say a single letter.
My mouth hurts.
Oh yeah. See, I knew the wisdom teeth thing was relevant at the start of the podcast. Okay, but that does wrap it up. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we will be back in 2 weeks for more Pushing Buttons. We'll see you then. Happy New Year, everybody. and join us for the next one. Bye, everyone.